wait everybody to be here. See. Let's wait. I think we are waiting for Sam and Alemone is here. Okay. And Sam will be joining soon.
I started the stream on YouTube. I hope it's the same link, but I think it is. Let me recheck.
And Sam will be joining.
Yeah, should be working. Stream is live.
All right, now everybody is live on YouTube. Okay, cool. I think we can kick off. Almost all the teams are here. All right, then let's kick off. Yeah. So thanks everybody for joining again for the Frontier Guild Season 2 Demo Day 2. And we are live streaming to YouTube, and there will be community members watching on YouTube live this time. So I want to give a general context for all the community members about what is Frontier Guild and where are we today. So Frontier Guild is a builder program launched by Superfluid to boost ecosystem growth. The Guild is a community of builders working closely with the core team and work on high-impact ecosystem projects. Builders are rewarded with continuous funding. Every 2 weeks, there's demo day to showcase their progress. Builders receiving funding flow rates will be adjusted based on judges' staking votes in the demo day. Today is our second demo day of the season 2, and we have the judging tool developed by Sam, one of the judges today. Each judge will be given 100 units. Right now, let me just share quickly about the judging tool we have right now for Lemoni, the first time who's joining as in season 2. So you can see how it is. Everybody can see my screen. So the judging tool, we have a front end, and each judge will be giving 100 units, and you can choose, for example, let me just show you quickly how it is. So you can choose how many votes you want for each team, and you choose the 4 projects of your favorite projects from all the presentations today, and then you can allocate your units based on your preference of the project. For example, I can allocate 20, 30, 20 to different teams, and you can allocate as you see which one are the best, the preference of your projects today. And of course, because it's the first time you join as a judge, we can do a session afterwards to make sure like you understand the front end and you don't have any additional questions later. All right. All good for now?
Yeah, can you share the link for this tool?
Yes, sure. I will share it with you later. I will share with you in DMs later, just after. I will just kickstart with the presentation then. We had lots of progress during this week and the last week's talk, so I'm very excited to see everybody's final presentation in the demo days this time. Who wants to be volunteer today for the first one? All right, Lee, go ahead. Take the stage, please.
Thanks so much. Do I have sharing? Yeah, I do have sharing controls. Cool. Let me pull up my shared screen and then I'll get started. Here we go. Can you guys all see this okay? Yeah, cool. All
Yeah.
right, great. So I'm creating ZennyDrop, which is a Farcaster native airdrop tool for Alpha Friends and Moxie fan token creators. The last demo day, I announced the idea that I would create an airdrop tool for Alpha Friends because it's something that's been very high demand from the main core Alpha Friends user group that's still very active on the platform right now, which is artists. And the next time Alpha Friends has a big boom, I think that this user group and also other people who are getting used to the platform will want to be able to very easily do NFT airdrops. The reason I included Moxie fan token creators is because Moxie is a very popular protocol right now. And I think that by doing both Alpha Friends and Moxie the same way that people who are using Moxie right now might give Alpha Friends a try. Likewise, people who are using Alpha Friends might be more inclined to engage with Moxie. And there's a lot of nice cross-pollination opportunities there. So last demo day, I presented the initial idea. And since then, I've qualified the idea with a few power users, dug deeper into their needs. I'm working very closely with Aaron, who is #2 on the Alpha Friends leaderboard, and very big into art airdrops as well, and involved in the art community, and a curator as well. And Wake also replied that this is something that he really wants to see and to be able to use. There's an early landing page at zennydrop.com. And I'm a new Web3 developer, relatively. Like this is a brand new thing for me. I've done a lot of Web2 dev, but not so much Web3. So started learning smart contract dev with the aim to make a proof of concept app, taking over the entire flow from Manifold to Alpha Friends Moxie, and then marketing via Farcaster. However, this is a lot to take on in 2 weeks, and unfortunately, I don't have a live demo. But I talked with Yusuf earlier today to help me cut scope. So rather than trying to take over the entire Manifold process, which is a tall order, I'm letting users handle the mint process on their own that they're already familiar with because artists do airdrops already, and then focusing on the distribution and marketing part. So taking the mint that they have, distributing it to the Alpha Friends and Moxie fan token creators or holders that are already on there, and then helping the artists use Farcaster as a way to distribute their art, to get more attention, and to get more subscribers on Alpha Friends and perhaps fan token holders from Moxie as well. So a quick look through how I imagine part of the app work in progress. This is almost a clone of the landing page as it is right now. And then signing in with Farcaster, going into, you've already minted the token, and so you can put the token address in here. Do you want to drop it to subscribers? Do you want to drop it to stakers? Do you want to drop it to Moxie fan token holders? And of course, not all pieces you'll want to drop to everybody. So a few advanced settings, for example, with Moxie, it might be how many fan tokens are they holding. With Alpha Friends subscribers, how long have they been a subscriber, or something like that might be useful. With stakers, how much do they have staked in your channel? These kinds of basic settings should be useful. Skipping approval for a moment and then going to distribution. This is a really interesting thing because I think there are a lot of opportunities to do a better job with airdrop distribution and like post airdrop marketing. Oftentimes you get an airdrop and it just appears in your wallet and you don't really notice it or do anything with it, nor do you have the easy opportunity to do something with it. So I think that there's plenty of opportunity to make airdrops much more shareable when you receive something. I think that actually Mark Carey is here. He did a great job with the Maxi minting, the Moxie Maxi minting process, and you saw it everywhere on your Farcaster timeline if you're on there. So yeah, I think there's a lot of room to do frames to make them more shareable, and programmable direct casts are also an underutilized channel that I think Airstock has done a good job with recently, but I think that as developers, we can do a much better job with overall. So it's all about giving artists more tools to showcase what they've done, to spread what they've done, and to give their fans the ability to do so as well. Talked with Mick from the Alpha Friends team, and we also might have native notifications for Alpha Friends as well. And so that's something to take advantage of too. Very much a work in progress, but this is what I'm thinking at the end, and a nice screen, perhaps some confetti or lots of logos or icons floating around the screen. Something fun to make the process feel good and get people coming back to it as well. that's what I have for today's demo day. The next steps for my project are to get the smart contracts working. Yusuf and I have a call scheduled next Monday to do some pair programming, so thank you for that. And excited to get much better at Web3 dev, put this together. I think that I have a much clearer picture than I did 2 weeks ago of what needs to be built, as well as a seed of initial user base that really wants to use it, and hopefully a few clever ideas about how to make it really have a big impact on the Alpha Friends ecosystem and by extension, Superfluid. That's all for me. Thank you, guys.
Cool. Thanks, Lee. Probably I've been going a little bit too fast also because Lemoni joined external judges. I think for the season 1, everybody know who he is, and he's also very famous in the forecaster. I mean, working with lots of builders in the forecaster ecosystem. So maybe I'll just give him a little bit time for self-intro before I enter the questions for Lee.
I mean, I'm Limone from Rome, Italy. I'm one of the organizers of It Rome and running a Web3 community in our city. I'm also a Web3 builder, software engineer myself. I've been building a lot of stuff in the forecaster ecosystem, frames, clients in the last year, as well as other consumer crypto projects. So thank you again for the invitation, Soleil.
Thanks for being here. And what Lee is building is very valuable for Alpha Friends and also for beyond Alpha Friends, for any content creators who wants to airdrop NFTs to their fans. Do you guys have any questions regarding his progress so far, or any advices about what he can do better?
Yeah, actually, I have a couple of questions. The first one is probably I missed the first session, so like wanted to know when you started like working on the project and what's currently like live for users. I know that you mentioned you're making like progress. I wanted to know if there's some ways in which like the users you're talking with are already benefiting some of your work with some, I don't know, workarounds or other stuff.
Yeah, that's a great question. The project, the idea was solidified about a day before the last demo day, which was about 2 weeks ago and one day. And since then, I've dove deep into smart contract development and things like that because it's very new for me. I'm a very, very active Alpha Friends member, and I've also developed some Alpha Friends tools that were not Web3 dev or Web3 building. So very familiar with it, but Web3 dev itself is very new to me. Hence, yeah, getting the smart contracts up and running and reliable and stuff like that has been a sticky point. I spent, I don't know, half a day doing config for trying to deploy things today. So yeah, I think that progress has been a lot slower than I would like it to be on the engineering end. On the product end, I think that things like sharing via frames, programmable direct casts as a channel, getting a detailed spec and talking to users. I've made a lot of really good progress on that in the last 2 weeks. And so the idea taking shape and so on and so forth, I think has made a lot of progress. Here's something that users can actually use, which is something I value a lot, and I'm a little bit frustrated I haven't gotten to, not as much progress as I would like.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And I think the user research part is very valuable already about what content creators actually need and the influencers actually need. And it always takes a little bit time. Like, I'm not a dev, so I know how difficult it is. I use non-code tools to maintain NFTs, and I achieved to do that with third web once. But write contracts by yourself, if you haven't done that, takes a little bit more time, sure.
I also, sorry, had a question. What did you end up doing with the smart contract side? Are you deploying your own, or are you going to use Manifold in the end?
As of right now, I'm going to start by allowing them to do their own mints. And the original plan was to use a factory contract and then have users able to either import their own contract or create a new one. I think that's overkill for V1. And so we're going to make it a little bit easier, have them do their own mint in the beginning. throw in a token address, and then help with the distribution and marketing.
Yeah. Curious to hear Mark Carey's thought here because he's done a lot of like NFT deployments and stuff like that. So minting NFTs itself is a whole business, right? Like there are so many, so many features and customizations and stuff like that that will need to be added. So talking to Lee this morning, I thought, initially I thought, okay, we can have like a mint page there as well, but eventually all the artists know how to mint their NFTs and like get them in their wallets. They just are struggling with the step of like disperse, or like send to the Alpha Friends subscribers and stuff like that. So we don't like, I don't think that even in long term it's a good idea to take over that effort of like trying to create a mint page, because that comes with a whole set of like customization and like features that artists are gonna want eventually. But having their own NFTs in their wallets is something that happens and they just want to drop. So this will just be like the function of like, okay, well, I have these NFTs in my wallets. I want to drop all of them to my subscribers. I want to do it in one click of a button. And so eventually it's just a batch transfer type contract. Do you think that's a fair vision, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at some of this and I've done some work with both Zora contracts and Highlight. I haven't looked at Manifold. And so one approach is to try to piggyback off of their contracts, and you can do things like frames or airdrops, and provide your own UI to those contracts. But there are sort of limitations of each. With Zora, it's their fees that are hard to get around. And with Highlight, there's a few other issues I ran into when I did the Alpha Nouns collection, but I found a way around most of it. But the benefits to doing that is that those platforms have put in a lot of work, as you said, Yusuf, with all those customizations. It's pretty easy to do a simple NFT factory contract as long as you don't need all those little optional things. That's really simple. You can do it really quick. But if you want like all the options that artists often want, like specific airdrop lists of addresses or requirements for, you must hold this token in order to mint, and all these different things about prices and time limits for the mint, and the list goes on, and Zora and some of these other, they've spent time to build those, and if you look at their contracts, they're very complex, and there's a reason for that. So I kind of agree that, trying to recreate that is, it's a lot of work. So either leveraging it in some way, and leveraging the benefit is that you get your own distribution, and you also can, the tokens are still on Zora and people can find them there. So that's kind of the benefit of that. You can provide your own UI to Zora tokens, and have the benefit of that extra distribution, but you just have to work within their limits. So in general, I tend to agree that unless the audience is okay with a very simple, limited option, airdrop, like a simple NFT, then, trying to rebuild it is probably not worth the effort unless you have, a few $1 million in funding and stuff like that.
Sure. Thanks, Mark, for the very valuable inputs. And now let's move on to second projects. Who wants to volunteer here?
Hey, Team Niku and Dev. So we are going to present our project.
Sure. The stage is yours.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah. Okay, sure. So hi everyone. My name is Maruti. So we are Team Buzzify. So before jumping on the idea, I just want to explain from the previous demo to this demo, we have pivoted a lot of things, and the platform is the predict, bet, and earn. So you can compare it with the poly market, but with the unique features that we are providing and what we are adding the new to the market. So how we can go to the market. So this is Team Buzzify, and our product is Buzzify, where users can predict the score and simply bet and earn, just simply like predicting the US election results. Yeah. So how it works? So as easy as predicting will win next US elections. So here we are targeting the social content creators. So we can take the unique engagement from their content score and the engagement that they got in the specific time period, because the most of the users now are using social media and they know how all the engagement will go and where most engagement will go. Rather than predicting the results of the elections and all the things, users can directly predict the scores of their favorite content creators and can earn and win the bids. So it's simple, just score calculation using our own in-house formula that we have already shown to the judges, and then predict the score number, and if you found the match you will win the bet. So yeah, we are not new social media. So we are just using the fetching APIs that are publicly available with the different platforms like the Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, and mainly Farcaster. So from there, we are taking our all the parameters that are required to calculate and generate the score that we have implemented in the smart contracts. And after that, the score calculation, the prediction will go on, like the pools will be settled up, and then as user will predict the score, they will get the amount of the bet. So it's just simple, the fetching the data from the different platforms. So we are currently targeting the Instagram and Farcaster, and mostly we are going to integrate more platforms. Yeah. So why we need this product? So social media, everyone is using the social media and giving their most of the time to the watching content and all the things. So here we want to incentivize the users where they can predict the scores of their favorite content creators, what they are going to achieve. Like if the content creator is going to boom, you just need to predict the score higher to that. So then you will win the bet amount. So this is the simple that we want to target, because now the poly market has getting huge traction, because now just on the US election bets there are the bet around $1 billion plus of the volume. So uh, for the GTM strategy, we have defined like to getting the users to our platform, we want their fan clubs to interact. So here we are introducing our 1v1 battles, where we are placing in the market in the first go. So here we will go with the content creators, different content creators, and will place the battle. Here user just need to predict who will going to score more. Just simple as like the yes or no in the prediction marketplace. So user will get to know about our platform and get incentivized for getting into this first GTM. So I want to thank you, Yao and Yusuf, for the suggesting this strategy, and we are heading towards making this GTM live in the next week. Here, user just need to predict the score, predict who is going to win the, who is going to score more in the both creators. Here we can like 1v1 battles and multi-creator battles. So targeting with the Farcaster users and content creators. Yeah. So early user incentivization, we are looking for the early drops for the users, then fan club promotions for creator battles, and then community incentivize for hosting their pools. We are in talk with different communities like FBI and FBI builders, like a Firecaster builder in India and other communities, like how we can place the product and how we can get more traction for the users to engage with our platform for the first. And then for the next MVP, that is our core user idea, we are going to build that unique score mechanism calculator for the individual content creators. So this is our team, Maruti, Neeraj, and Sneha. So we are working on the separate domains. And yeah, let's understand Buzzify, what is Buzzify is doing. So I just want to move to the Notion docs. So we have distributed all the things in the Notion docs. So here we have our score mechanism. If anyone is new, they want to read how we are calculating the score for the content creator, they can do, and reward pool distribution and all the things. So I will share the Notion docs links in the group also. So for the technical presentation, I want to head over to the Niku. So Niku, over to you.
Yeah. Can you unshare?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Maruti, for overview of our platform from the first demo day to till now second demo day. My screen is visible, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I will quickly go through the front end that we have made throughout this week. So this is the Buzzify front end. So we have two GTM strategy. The first one is bet on your favorite content creators. Another one is 1v1 platform. So this GTM is suggested by the Yao and the Yusuf in this week only. So we started this also, and we are now 80% of completion of the bet on your favorite content creators, and the 40% of battle with your friends or battle with between the content creators. If you go down, you will see the FAQs where you will got to know your answers with all the questions, how the score mechanism is working, how you are getting the profit from the betting on your content creators. You will go and read the docs also if you want to. Let's go to the explore section. If you go to the explore section, you will find out most of the content creators listed on this platform. And if you want to bet on the content creators, and if you want to search for any of the content creators, you can search easily. You can filter out by the followers, popular or recently added also. And if you go into the bet on content creators, it will open the profile of that content creators. All this data is fetching from API only. If for the forecaster, we are using Airstack. And if you want to know the highlights, or if you want to know the what's the graph of engagement, like likes growth, follower growth, you will get to know by the seeing this graph only. And if you click on the bet now, it will open in modal. If you want to predict some score as per the GTM of first strategy, you can invest in any of the token, like in USDC, USDT, or any Buzz token. Enter your amount and select any of the pools. So right now we are focusing on the 1 week pool period. You can submit your amount. So after the 1 week, it will generate an result, and based on that score calculation, we will finalize the how much reward based on the target score you are getting. So if you are quickly go through the contracts, what we have right now achieved. So this is the BuzzBuy contract that has a function of create pool, place a bet. Then you can see a set result function that will be called by the owner only, and this is the calculation reward function that is private. So this calculation is all over we have written in the docs only that we have shared in the Zoom meeting link. And after the reward calculation, the user can claim that bet or claim that reward. So this is the first GTM smart contract. And for the other GTM, that the second 1x1 platform. So we are right now on the 50%, 51% of the task. So we have created the Superfluid contract, that is the instant distribution pool. Why we are using instant distribution pool rather than the streaming distribution pool? Because in the end of the any of the pool, in the end of the any of the like 7 days period or 1 month period of the pool, we have to distribute the funds in one way, one go, right? So we have make and give units function. So it has like you have to give the addresses of the winners and assign the units to that, and then run the function in the for loop. So we have give the that accepted token. Right now we have using the ETHX, and we have make the super full for the instant distribution pool. So this is the like 3-member pool right now, and we have give the units of around 20, 30, 40 give units, and then distribute the instant distribute the pool with the help of Superfluid. So before that, like we have done the developer session with the Yusuf also, how we can make the Superfluid pools. And Yusuf suggested me that stream distribution pool is not used here in your idea. You can use the instant distribution pool for the second GTM perspective. So that are like pretty much like what we can say that our improvement from the first week to the second week in the terms of front end smart contracts and the Superfluid integration. Yeah, we are now open for the question.
Yeah.
Thanks for the presentation. Maybe give everybody a little bit context. In the beginning, they want to do something like a Joker race a little, or not Joker race, but like you can bet on different content creators, and the content creators will have different social score. based on their activities on Twitter. And we were saying maybe it's easier if you started, just battle one against one first, and then later you can develop something more similar like Joker Race. And the use case here for Superfluid is instant distribution. So one side, if they lose the bets, their funds will be distributed to the winner side based on the proportion of all the how winners are betted, the amounts of each person have betted on the winner side. And of course, I mean, this is the first idea, and we think it might be easier to do kind of like go to market because on the frames, it will be very easier. It's like a poly market. You bet A or you bet B, So that was the original idea about how to go to market. Right now, open for questions or any advices, or what do you think about this frame type of poly market betting on different performance of different content creators?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How does it work, or how you want it to work in regards of the creators of content? I didn't understand the part in which you bet on a creator, and after a while, what you are betting on? The success of that creator?
So
In the previous, when we start betting on the pool time, so there will be history of the content creator and how the content creator is going to perform in next 7 days. Like he is going to increase his engagement in the form of views, like subscribers, and how much term. So there is a formula for calculating the score using that parameters, views, likes, and subscribers in the different cases of the different platforms. So the score will vary from the 0 to 100 or -100 also. So user can predict any number, and according to its divergence, he will get the amount of the bet pool. But this is for our main USP. In the case of one versus one battle, user just need to predict who is going to score more, like content creator A or B. So after 7 days, both scores will calculated for them. So the one who score more, the whole bet amount will get distributed to the betted side, like the who betted for on the winner. Yeah, just simple.
Yes, sounds interesting. Are you thinking on betting more long term? Like, I like this creator. I think that he or she is going to earn a lot of followers over time, but I don't know when. But I want to bet on them.
Yeah, for now we are targeting of the 1 week pool, like 1 week period pool, but we can increase it according to the user needs, like 1 month, 12 months. It will go longer also, but the main core mechanism will be same for the all pools. Just time period will be different.
Because I think that 1 week is very short
Yeah.
time, but uh, I I am just I don't actually know.
yeah,
What it feels like.
for the purpose of the demo, we can make it short, like for 7 days.
Mhm.
But if we move to the 1 month period, we can attract more users and more bettings will be placed on that content creator side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my point is that 1 week is very manipulable.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's the correct word. It's like I know things that somebody don't know, that creator is going to release something new. So it's going to have a lot of engagement. So I can bet on that before. But if it's something that is long, um, in a long time, such as the US elections or things like that, it is way more difficult to manipulate.
Got it.
So
I'd
yeah,
say
I just have this comment on that.
half the
Yeah, yeah.
pools on the poly market I would say are easily manipulated. If not half, maybe like 90% of the pools are like full of insiders and like a lot of manipulators. So it's something that's really, really hard to like prevent in prediction markets in general. I wouldn't necessarily think it's bad. But I agree. It's like the debate of like over like perpetual token futures and like limited in time options and stuff like that. I guess Definitely. But yeah.
There's always a bit of manipulative in like what we say on Polymarket, but I mean, we get your input, Sam, and for the long term of the content creators, like healthy growth, if the voting period is longer, it's better, right? It's more like their true community members will support them.
Yep.
So it all depends how you want to do it in the first launch and then in the longer term also.
Got it. Yeah.
I think Lemoni has a question is, how do you guys see being different from what Pro was doing a couple of months on Forecaster? Can you maybe explain a little bit more what Pro has did?
Yeah. So Perl was a Forecaster native project, and they created this something very similar to what Polymarket is today for general bets. They were like running these daily games around specific challenges between creators. Of course, like these challenges were decided by their team, but they were asking people to bet on whether, I don't know, Vitalik was performing more than X thousands likes on Forecaster or not, or maybe who is going to get more views, or I don't know, recast or whatever between Dan Romero or another, creator. So like I think a very, very similar concept, maybe more targeted with respect to the Forecaster niche. So I wanted to know, like, if you knew about this
Yes.
project, and if you feel like there's some twist that you're trying to give to this.
Yeah, so the first content, like the first GTM strategy is just similar like this to pull up the users to the platform. But in the next GTM 2, where we are launching our main core USP, where more randomness will come. Like they need to predict the score for the individual content creator, where they just need to scroll the bar. Like if the final score will come around 85 for the Vitalik after the pool period ends, and the whole betters, all the betters in the pool will predict the score around 80, 75, 85, and according to their divergence they will going to get the betting amount from the pool. So like someone is going to get higher if they predict more closer to the prediction score, and the one who away from the score will get less. So this is the unique factor that we are trying to add after this. But for the main GTM and the volume perspective, the first 1v1 battle is our main thing to do in the market.
So I checked the Pro. So it's more like you choose like the example Mark Carey shared is you choose who is gonna win from a bunch of different influencers or content creators, or you can bet on one prediction if it's correct or not. And I think what BuzzFi, yeah, rebranding already, is doing is they try to see how close you can predict. That's the difference here. Like their first original idea is they want to give a score for each content creator, like their engagement score, like score, and every users can go and bet like how much their score gonna be in 1 week or in 1 month. And the closest to the prediction can actually win more than the ones which have less correct prediction. So that's the difference here. But I do see lots of things we can get inspired from Pearl as well.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to add one more point here. Like if you are going to predict any of the platform, so there will be an yes and no option, right? If the no is losses, then all of the no option users will lose all the money. They are not getting single money from them. But if you come to BuzzyWire platform, if you are predicting any score, if the prediction is far from the target score, you also getting some points or rewards on top of that, because the prediction is not accurate to that target score, but it is far from like the difference, right? After that, the calculation of score, you will get some 1 or 2 tokens there also. So it's not like you losing all the money after placing a bet. So that can be a different approach.
Guys, I was wondering, do you think I mean, I think the scoring mechanism is quite interesting, right? And basically it can technically score anything, any number, right? So it could even be a price, right? Or it could be some other number in crypto, right? It could be how many holders does the token have, or you
Yeah.
know, how much liquidity is there on Uniswap, or it could be a number of different numbers. I wonder if the one you have right now is even the best one. It might, there might be more crypto-y things that you can do.
Yeah.
Because the scoring mechanism is interesting, and I don't think I've seen it before in crypto. I think there was something similar. Like I think I've played a game where you had to guess how many beans there were in a bottle or something, right? And it's kind of a, kind of old school game, but I've never seen it in crypto, and it's interesting to
Yeah.
think a bit more about it.
Yeah, that's the
Definitely.
inspirations. Thanks for everybody's inputs. I think we need to move on to the next one to make sure the session is on time. But we will
Yeah.
definitely talk later after in the office hours. Fran can also give you more inspirations about what you guys can do more. All right. Then
Thanks, everyone. Yeah.
thank you guys. Then we can move on to the third project. Any volunteer? Yeah,
Yes, I can.
Bruno team. Yeah, ready?
Yep, let's go. In 3. All right, so me and Bruno and Mateus, we are working on Astroblock, which is a game. So this is demo day number 3. So I'll talk a bit about what we added to the game. So the game, what is it? It's an infinite game where you can shoot live blocks coming from that are mined on different blockchains. So right now we have like 4 blockchains that you'll see in the game. So what we added compared to last week was actually a better signing flow. We have a leaderboard that I'll show after this. We also turned the game into an infinite game. Before we had just some timed games. This one is just playing forever. You can join in and leave whenever you want. We also have, well, I'll actually just join the game. Here we go. So this is the game. You can see the blocks coming and you can shoot them. You can play with your keyboard. Also, we added this. I see Bruno just joined. Yeah, so we added also a mobile, like we tried to make it mobile a little bit because we had this allowed me to introduce the problem that we faced last week. We said we wanted to have this game running in a forecaster. You could launch it from a frame and into a composer action that would open up in the Warpcast, but we have some trouble with this. And also, I think it's a little bit harder than we thought. Especially, I think we have to get signed on into the mini app. And I think these type of applications on Warpcast are managed still, so we have to look into this. And also, we have a bit less time than before, so but it's actually made us focus more on what we need to deliver. So this is the game. I will leave Bruno and I will show you the leaderboard. So when I leave the leaderboard, I can see basically who is topping the leaderboard. You have some points. The score pretty easy. It's how many blocks you've shot. You're getting some points. And basically the top three players receive a stream of some tokens. Right now, this is not connected, but we're going to use what the smart contracts that we did for the Brussels hackathon. We're going to connect it, and it's basically a yonk between the top 3 players, and we're going to add it in hopefully next demo day. We'll have this working. And basically, yes, we want to focus now on making a soft launch and having some community events to target having some time windows so that people can advertise their communities and have fun together. I'm gonna also pass it to Mateus to show also some UIs that we've been working on.
I can share.
I need to leave.
That's okay. So, hey guys, this is Bruno, and part of the project is actually doing the brand new design of the game. So I'm gonna share my screen, and since we've managed to make the game vertical, because last demo we was like horizontal, so we had to play on desktop, but now we've made it available for you to play on the phone. So I'm gonna share my screen. Hopefully you can see it. So one thing that Mateus did, Mateus is our design and is working with us. We're planning to implement this design in the future, so make things look cooler. So it's a nice UI that we've managed to do here. Like game style and actually being able for you to play on the mobile. And based on that, I'm started implementing that on the actual game. Unfortunately, I cannot run it locally here, but I can show you that we are making progress here. Plus, we are in talk and filling up the form to request access to the App Store of the Farcaster. So here you should be able to play the game once we have it done within Farcaster without leaving it, and also as like a mini app that you have on Telegram, but inside Farcaster, which will make more sense to achieve more users and also make it fun to play within the social media. Yeah, so happy to share the progress, just letting you know that we are aiming higher goals for next demo day, so stay tuned.
Cool, thanks. I think we like a lot. It's already a vertical first, and then also it's a mini app which can be played when you open a frame in the future, and it's very simple. You know, I like the vintage type of like older games. We can shoot the stars or shoot the other space aircrafts, like we already discussed in our office hours. And hope next time we will see the design into the demo day. So it's gonna be more kind of immersive experience. And just for everybody to understand better how the Superfluid rewarding is going on here is so all the shooters or players, they are actually try to shoot as much as blocks they can or the targets. And the number one on the leaderboard will get the reward stream. So it's kind of like a mix between Yonk and playing the game. And that's how the leaderboard is playing here. Any questions? Yeah.
Have you tested with a lot of users playing it at the same time? It is still gonna scale at that point?
Well, right now we have like there's only 4 players, but I think you can add like up to 20 or something. The only thing is that this screen is small, but I think like it's actually like this restriction because we're not really game devs, but this restriction is making, I think, could bring like some interesting mechanics. Like if you want to enter and there's no room, you have to like bet or buy your tickets. Or also the game is like 24/7, so maybe you can play when this, I don't know, but I feel like this is a cool restriction. I don't know what you guys think, but I think could create some interesting game mechanics.
Yeah, I like it. So anyone can enter if there is a space. That's the rule.
Yeah, if there is space, but we could add also like outbid someone and take their seat or something like this. I think that could be an interesting way game. But also we can also spin up. We have that is not deployed on the front end, but we also have like timed games that we could also have let people play open game rooms, like a lot of game rooms. We're using a gaming framework that allows us to basically handle all that heavy gaming backend mechanics.
Okay.
Yep. And like Limoni said, we do want to position it as a mini or composer app in the Podcaster, like the bird.
Yeah.
So we want it to be very easy accessible for all the users, even the mobile users. That's a goal, end goal here.
Absolutely.
Any
Invaders.
invaders? Yeah. Any other Any other questions, judges, or from the other members? Nope. All good. Everybody likes the design, so good one. Yeah. All right, then let's move on to the next team. I think Heisenberger and Dayati want to go next.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I think I'm going to be alone for this one because he has some internet issues, but I'll try my best to both present the back end, front end, and all the updates, and then answer all the questions. So let me share the screen. Can you guys see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so to give some backstory, I guess, for people who are not aware, we're building on top of Super Boring. Super Boring is a dollar cost averaging DEX, you can say. So essentially, instead of making swaps from token A to token B in a single transaction, single instance, you send a stream, a flow of tokens, and then over a period of, let's say, a month, and then you get the tokens swapped every hour. So for example, I stream 100 tokens a month. Every hour, part of my money that's already streamed is taken, swapped, and then returned to me. So that's basically dollar cost averaging, so buying tokens over a certain period of time instead of in a single instance at a specific rate. So here on this screen, you can see Super Boring, and we see all the markets available. So you can DCA from USDC to ETH, from ETH to DGen, and from BUILD to ETH, and so on and so forth. What we're building is essentially an incentive structure on top of Super Boring. So imagine if I'm, someone from a DGen token, right, a team member or a community member, and I want to incentivize people to buy into DGen, I can create a campaign, set up a fund. So that can be DGen tokens or some other type of tokens, right? Stable coins, whatever. And then for every single person who streams from ETH to DGen, they get additional rewards. And so this logic can also be expanded to other pairs like Build. If Limon wants to set up some incentive mechanism, you can do that. So this is essentially how your position currently looks like on Super Boring. So as you can see, this position is from DGen to ETH. And so you're allocating one DGen a month, and you see all the data, right? How much you have sent, how much you have received, what the average price is. So this is the current Super Boring application. This is the overview of Super Boring and how it works. And this is a very high level. And for the purposes of this call, I'm going to keep it simple. So essentially, you have traders on left, you have Torix in the middle, and then you have the back end of Super Boring. The users start streams to Torix. Torix handles those streams, essentially forwarding them to Super Boring. And Super Boring does all the automation. So let's say every 55, 1 hour, right, 60 minutes, it performs a swap and then returns the tokens back to Torix, which then forwards it back to the traders. So this is the simple kind of overview of this complex architecture. So last demo day, we kind of gave a very general overview of how we're going to build our super app and integrate our super app into Super Boring. And there was an issue that we were not aware of, which is you can't forward a call from super app to another super app. And so what we thought initially was, we would place our super app, if you guys can see my mouse, we would place our super app in between the user and Torix, and then that would kind of forward to Torix, and Torix would forward to Super Boring. But that's not possible. So we had to come up with a different architecture on how we do this. How do we automate the user flow? How can you abstract away, all the complexities and have the user just start a stream and then start receiving the tokens that they're DCAing into, and also the rewards, right? So that's so this is how our architecture looks like. We have trader A, B, C, and so they all stream CUSD to our super app, which is SP Incentives app. So this super app, when it receives a stream, we emit an event, and we have set up a custom indexer that catches those events. And so when we see an event, let's say on flow created, so when we see that trader A has started streaming to our super app, the indexer automatically calls a function on our super app, which then starts the flow between the super app, our super app, Torix, and Superboring. And so this is essentially how we automate the process. So what it looks like is, the user interacts with our super app, the indexer catches those interactions and reacts to them. Effectively, if a flow is created, the indexer creates a flow from our app to Torix, sends USDC, sends CUSD, Torix then sends that to Superboring, Superboring sends back Celo, Torix sends back Celo to our app, and then our app distributes that to the traders. So this is how we kind of automate the process instead of having to, manually click on flow created, update, delete. We use our indexer, which is just a graph indexer that listens to events. And that's how we kind of came up with the architecture. So yeah, that's the high-level overview of our app. And we had some time to build front end, so I'm going to show that now. We did ran into a couple issues, but so let's see. I'm going to stop the share for a second.
Yeah, while the share stops, I just want to give a little bit more context on this. So, some of you who are like really deep into the protocol may follow with this, but some others may not. But I just want to say, like, this project's also like in the architecture of the smart contracts actually uses all of the pieces of the protocol. So we're using CFA, we're using the GDA, we're using super app. So there's a lot of technical complexity in this. So kudos to the Heisenberger and the ITVA team for taking on this I guess it's on the frontier really task. And yeah, initially we thought of doing like 2 super apps in chain, but we realized that there's a limitation of the chain-in, which is limited to 1 today. On the protocol side, hopefully in the next version we could like chain multiple super apps one after another. And now we're doing it that like we're distributing the flow every time. And yeah, we had this call with
for everybody, or it's just on my side?
It's on your side.
On the other side, yes.
So,
okay. I'll let
curious.
Heisenberg continue the presentation right now, and then if there's like, because I did work on the contracts with the ITVA very closely, so if he's not here today, I'm happy to like explain some details.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, on the interface side, so we have not we didn't deploy it yet. We did try to copy the theme and style of Superboring just to showcase like how it can look like. And so it's fairly similar to Superboring. Like the UI can be as simple as it is currently on Superboring, right, on live deployment. So this is hard-coded right now, and hard-coded meaning we're not pulling this from graph or subgraph, but we do have a super app deployed for this specific pair. And so essentially you would see, you could discover incentives, and then you can DCA into it, input the amount, start the stream, which would not work right now because we're having some issues with the SDK. But essentially, you could start a stream, and then in portfolio, you could see your position. So you would see how much you received, how much you're sending per month, and so on and so forth. Open up a new position. And this is the admin section. So this is what I was talking about before. With the current architecture, you have to call a function. That can be anyone in the future, but for now it's gated by an admin. So we would call this function, and then this would effectively start a stream to Superboring, and then also distribute the rewards to the user. So this is how far we have gotten so far as the front end is concerned. We do have parts of the contracts ready, and we talked about a couple of kind of how can we set up the super app. So, for example, do we want to allow anyone to create any incentive structure around any pair, or do we have permissioned pools? So, in other words, do we, as the dApp, say, okay, we have added this specific pool from Superboring, and you can contribute this specific token for rewards, right? So, for example, you're from, I don't know, DGen, right? DGen team. And so the DGen ETH pair is whitelisted, permissioned. And so you can contribute DGen tokens to that pool to then be rewarded to people who buy DGen token, right? So that's one way, and that's the way we're kind of building around right now. But another way is to basically allow anyone to create any type of incentive structure around any pair, which is of course more complex. But for now, we're trying to kind of start from simple implementation. I think that's about it. If there's any questions, I'll be free to answer.
Thanks, Heisenberger. Yeah, like Yusuf said, it's a frontier. You guys on the frontier to integrate with Super Boring and add rewards programs on top of it. And it's not easy in terms of structure and the architecture we already have with Super Boring. So great job up to now. And any questions from judges and or advices up to now?
Me.
Yes, go ahead.
When you were explaining about the indexer, that the indexer, when it receives an event, it sends it calls a function in the blockchain. How this function is permissioned? Anyone can call this function, or only a specific address can call it?
I can speak to that.
Yeah.
Do you know the answer, Heisenberger?
Yeah, I mean, for now it's permissioned with admin. If you hold the NFT, you can call it, but I think in the future it can be open sourced. I haven't thought about it, but
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit with Dave. I mean, it could be anybody, because basically the idea there is like you can't create another stream to the Torix, which is also super app. So all you need to do is like know what is the total stream that is being streamed to the to this like super app on top of the Torix. And then anyone, it's like liquidate on Aave or like any of these like functions that anyone, or compound, in any like DeFi, you can think of it as like the compound function in any like DeFi farm, anyone can compound. So anyone can like compound or like the new streams and like send them back to the Torix. So in the super app function, like when you create a flow to the super app, you get the rewards back, but it's not necessarily that like the stream starts directly to the Torix. Like someone needs to call another function, just because you can't layer on two super apps in the same transaction. You need to like kind of have separate transactions. So it's like compound. You basically exactly can think of it like compound in a DeFi farm. Anyone can click compound and they compound for everyone else, right? Does that make sense?
Well, not really with what I was thinking about that. Maybe I didn't understand properly. Basically, it's a subsequent function that has to be called in a different transaction because it cannot be in the same one. My question is more related with as soon as anyone can call it and it creates the same effect. I'm okay with that. If it was something that only owner could call, then it creates a problem that if that indexer stops working, then everyone stops receiving. So it's good that it's a public function.
Yeah, well, for now, we didn't have enough time, but yeah, it will be open. Like anyone can call it essentially.
Okay.
Sure, I think Fran also dropped some comments in the chat about their how it can work, either off-chain, on-chain, or directly with Super Boring together. So Fran, if you want, later you can also talk with maybe next time with Heisenberger and to help them better the architecture, because Torix with Super Boring itself, like the architecture is kind of complex already on our DEX side. So understand which will be the best.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's honestly, building with Super Boring is quite complex. You can't chain super apps, so you also can't chain GDAs, right? So that's also a limitation, which is why I was thinking maybe trying to build the incentive mechanism, which is really interesting, separately, so that it doesn't, so that the user can just like use Super Boring normally and then just go and claim the reward somewhere else. I think it might reveal itself to be an easier approach. But yeah, it's a great idea though. I think we might end up using it somehow. Yeah, let's see.
So in that case, we would be listening to people interacting with super boring, and then just use our kind of off
Exactly.
chain. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could it could even be as simple as you set up a GDA pool, right? A distribution pool with so let's use the degen example, right? So you set up, I'm a campaign, I set up a distribution pool with degen, and then whoever is streaming to degen can come to your UI and kind of claim a part of that reward stream. And then all you have to do is look at the chain to make sure that when they close the stream to super boring, you remove the GDA units, the distribution pool units from their from that user. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I have to give it more thought because, well, like, what if? Yeah, you have to have all the bases covered. So, but it is much simpler implementation. Because we still have to use an off-chain service, kind of, right, to manage that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll consider and see, if it's possible.
Yeah, I think that's as Farron indicated, that if you're going to use, if you do need to use an off-chain indexer, it's better not to get in the way of the DCA. Because as an investor, I don't think I would be comfortable if I was trying to DCA and it relied on a server, picking up my transaction and doing something, hopefully what I want, right? But if I'm interacting directly with the protocol, the DCA is going to work. Now, my rewards are still dependent on a third-party centralized server, but that's less important. So that I would that's kind of like a bonus, right? The extra yield. So I'd be more comfortable with that for sure. So that's one other reason to, I think, to sort of re-architect it in such a way that the super boring flows, you're interacting with the protocol directly, and the rewards sort of come off the back end.
Thanks, Mark, for for your inputs too. Nice. I think we should move on to the next team, but the conversation can continue afterwards, offline later. So who's going to take the stage for the next?
We can go.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
It's yours, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start to share my screen here in a second. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So know a lot of you guys, but to the judges, new judges, Mren, one of the team members from SenseSpace, we're an on-chain creative studio in Tokyo. There are three of us on the call today. It's me, Dioma, and Apollo. So nice to meet you. And so to give a little bit of an update on sort of the progress that we've made since the last demo day, we've really refined the value proposition around sort of why folks would use ChotoChat as an application. And that's really informed a lot of the work that we've done, have made some initial wireframes. Yoma's going to share a working prototype of the chat experience in a bit. And we've also sort of locked in our go-to-market strategy. And so look forward to taking you all through that in a second. And so starting here sort of with the value proposition and really thinking about, why people would use this application. And so as a quick refresher, what ChotoChat is an avatar-based one-on-one chat app where after 5 minutes, the chats disappear. And so you get matched based on different interests that you might have or different prompts that you select that you want to talk about. And as your avatar anonymously, you have a conversation with someone around that. And so we really thought about, okay, why would people really want to do this, and who are the types of people that would really need this? And so where we landed on was very much sort of this better you and wellness angle, where we think about sort of ChotoChat as an app that rewards people for taking breaks in their day to have meaningful conversations. And something that's extraordinarily important in society today. The types of people that we think that this can be valuable for are people who are 24/7 on crypto Twitter, people who are founders who don't get that time to themselves, young, busy urban professionals, and people looking to connect in different ways. And, this is just a few different data points, but this problem is very, very real. We've done some digging into things like founder mental health, loneliness epidemic, so on and so forth, and feel that this platform, starting with chat specifically, but using this sort of 5-minute design space, can be a application where people can sort of connect and find new sort of happiness and be a better self, I guess, in these sort of 5-minute increments. And so I will take you through the initial wireframes that we've created. Since last week, we went from just like a technical architecture to wireframes here. And so, as this value proposition for this application, we feel is something that can appeal both to non-crypto natives as well as crypto natives. We are doing a login with Face ID to Smart Wallet login flow for users. So very Web2 friendly. And so you can see that here. Take 5, vibe out is sort of a slogan that we've been working with. First, you pick your avatar here, give it a username. We suggest that people pick a username that isn't necessarily their name, though they're welcome to use their name as well if they'd like. They select the different questions, or sorry, different interests that they want to talk about. And then this is just sort of an initial sort of information gathering question for us for why sort of people would want to use this application. And then we go into the experience. And so a few sections of the experience here, people can click just chat. If they click just chat, then they'll get prioritized, sort of priority match will be given based on the different interests they've selected. But if they've selected topics, that'll be sort of what's picked first in the waterfall. And so users will be able to either pick one topic or multiple topics to talk about. And if there are other people who are waiting to discuss that topic, that'll be prioritized, and then they'll be matched based on their interests. And so if we go into here, so this is, somebody's decided that they want to chat. They've gone and matched with somebody. They have the conversation here. And then after 5 minutes ends, if both users decide that they want to continue the conversation, they can burn a conversation credit and decide to continue the conversation for another 5 minutes. But once that 5 minutes is over, or if both the users or one user decides not to continue the conversation ends. We've also, though this isn't entirely incorporated into the wires yet, are adding a limited super like feature. So effectively, once you'll be able to have one super like a day, which similar to, I guess, a dating app, for example. In a lot of dating apps, super likes you need to purchase. You generate one super like a day. And once you use that super like, you don't generate another one for another 24 hours. And so that super like is quite important and meaningful within this application as a way of showing that you're a participant in this application. And then you can also, again, purchase those super likes as well. And so to go into more of sort of the a little more of the on-chain element here. So every time you have a conversation, so based on the frequency of conversations that you have and the number of conversations that you have, you'll generate a stream of Choto tokens, which we may play around with that naming a bit, but you get a stream of Choto tokens, and you can use the Choto tokens to buy conversation credits, which are sort of shown as Choto tickets here, as well as additional super likes that you can use to give to other users. And you can also, again, we're going to end up using a Stripe integration here. We're launching with the PWA initially, though we want to go sort of full Apple Pay eventually and full native app, hopefully Q1 next year. But trying to, again, make this something that's very approachable for a wide set of users. And then, very, very simple user flow in terms of purchasing those tickets. And then, so here, is your sort of user profile page. You'll have, how many chats that you've done, the amount of time that you've spoken, as well as different achievements. And so, say, for example, somebody is talking a lot in the crypto category. They may get different badges that impact their stream, as well as based on sort of the amount of, they can also see their super likes here, so on and so forth. And so sort of you can look at sort of your profile here. And this sort of for the MVP is only visible to you. Initially, we've thought about a lot about sort of what sort of network effects can be built from friends within this application, but feel that that's a pretty wide universe and design space to play in. And so we're pushing back to post MVP, especially as sort of the point of the application and sort of having these 5-minute sort of disappearing conversations is the conversation without context to some extent. And so, testing this sort of no friends feature to start, but it's something that we plan to think about more in the future. And so yeah, so those are the full wires. And I'll let Yoma take you through the initial chat prototype that we have here.
Okay. Let me share the fast prototype about product. So as Ryan said, the user can use their own wallet, and also they can use Face ID or Windows Hello for the Windows. In this time, I'm using Windows, so let me check the Windows Hello. Then in this left, well, what? Arduino. There you go. I think it's work. And in this panel, I will use MetaMask, then login. Okay, so if the user want to have a chat together, they need a credit. So the user right side have a 2 credit and left side have a 1 credit. And also they have a chat token, like they have 8 for the balance and 9,000 or almost 10,000 chat token. And go to the chat room. In this demo, the chat room, the user directory in the chat room, but before they entering chat room, they have a waiting room. Then they match together, depends on the what topic they want to talk together, or what's the shared interest. So let's say hello, and we are connecting the to client with the WebRTC. So this is so we are respecting the privacy. So we don't use WebSocket to exchanging the low chat message data. So it's very good for the people for the in crypto because they really care about the privacy. So let's see. Okay, so after the 30 seconds, after the starting chat, the credit will bond. So maybe we already passed 30 seconds, I think. So let's leave the room. And after having the conversation, the user can send a review each other, and the review will go to the EAS for the attestation. And all the review data and the conversation history will be in the EAS. Let me check. Okay, so the credit will burned. Yes, like that. And so the chat token is a super token. So we can see the Superfluid dashboard. And I don't implement yet, but depends on how long the user using chat, the flow rate will be changed. And the user earning the chat token and get a credit, or maybe they can buy app skin or avatar skins, something like that. So let me see the EAS. So in this screen, before a minute ago, this is the history data. So all the chat history is on-chain data. So let's see. Okay, so every history have a partner address and topic. In this time, we don't put any topic, so it's just empty. And how long the chat will continue, and when the chat started. So the reason why we are using EAS is EAS team now building algorithm for the making social graph from the attestation. So I'm thinking we can use the EAS data to get a social graph analysis with the attestation. So that's why we are using the EAS. Let me share the about flow rate calculation quickly. So, so basic stream flow rate rule is 0.01 CHOT token per second. So the user can earn the 360 CHOT token per hour. And we are thinking to sell chat credit for the 1,000 CHOT token. So maybe the user can earn the credit with the 2.7 hour. And also there are several stream rules. What first is stream will continue to 24 hours for last chat. So the user needs to having chat at least once in a day. And the flow rate will be multiplied depends on how long the user had chat. So it depends on cumulative chat time. So if the user had 30 minutes, they can their flow rate will be multiplied 1.1, something like that. And also, as Ren said, we are giving achievements for the user, depends on the anything. So if users have achievements, it also influence flow rate. Also, I explain the credit rules. After 30 seconds from start chat, a credit will be burned, and chat end in 30 seconds, which means the credit will not be burned, and the chat history is not written on chain. And max balance of credit is 10 for everyone, something like that. This is just a version 1 for DevCon, so maybe we can upgrade the basic rule. This is my progress. So next few weeks, I'm thinking to implement the flow, automatically changing flow rate for the users and fixing some bugs. Thank you.
Thanks, Roma, for the very detailed technical explanation about what you did with multiplier, etc. There are some questions in the chats. I think, Ren, you have a few slides to show. Maybe you
Yeah,
will.
I think we tried to answer a bunch of them. It's kind of funny because we got a few different viewpoints on AI agents in the app, which is fun. But I think we've done a lot of research on similar applications. You know, some of you might be familiar with Omegle, which was actually shut down a few years ago for a variety of issues. You know, some other similar chats out there, and you know, maintaining the quality of community here, especially in the early days as we launch this, is everything. It's crucial. You know, I think you know, we want to make sure that there's a critical mass of users so that you know, people always have somebody to speak with. But if the person that they speak with is just trying to farm tokens, or if the person that they speak with is yeah, says something not particularly nice to them, we're not going to have a application long term. And so really being intentional about how we build that community, using DevCon as a platform for us to sort of build that initial audience and then really leverage those early insights towards this native app launch that we plan to do in Q1 of next year. And just to go through the tactics, you know, we just by sort of our mutual networks, you know, Ryoma's been very involved with Code for Japan in the past, which is very integrated in sort of the Asian Builder community. SenseSpace itself was part of C Club's SC06 cohort, so our team was, and so have a very strong sort of founder in crypto network. And so, you know, really trying our best. You know, we have a list of a few hundred people already to start to onboard, but effectively onboarding people before DevCon and during DevCon, really trying to build that very strong community while also giving those people we're starting with one referral to start, just to try to make that community quite strong and tight. You know, we're aware if the critical mass isn't there, that's an issue. And so we have thought about implementing AI agents and things like that, but want to take this sort of method that doesn't scale to start, and really try to make this a really compelling and strong brand and community for folks. And then also we're you know, starting to speak with some counterparts in Thailand around doing a Take 5 at 5 series, we're calling it. There's a massive park next to DevCon, actually, called Benchakiti Park. And so, you know, doing 5-minute sort of break sessions for people to sort of show the value of ChotoChat versus tell the value of ChotoChat in those small moments throughout the day. And so, having a small sort of event series that also can build really good content. Also, starting to speak with some well-aligned crypto projects to have categories in the app together that we can help open those up to the communities of those project owners. And then also just, continuing to build content and to be sort of leveraging a lot of Web2 channels as well. We've been thinking about what our TikTok strategy will be, sort of our Instagram strategy will be, as opposed to purely sort of Web3 channels. And last thing is I just put cool merch. We're working on some early merch ideas here. It says take 5, vibe out, escape the ordinary on this t-shirt. Those are just like initial concept that we had. I don't think this will be the final one, but really want to build sort of this idea of taking a break as a brand, and use this brand as a platform to, continue to bring people into our application. And so, hopefully next week what Neoma has and what I had will all come together and we'll have cleaner working prototype to show you guys for next week or 2 weeks from now. So thank you guys.
Great. Thanks for the clear go-to-market strategies on your side. I think take as a brand, take a break is a good brand to kind of make it continuous events or series, etc. And as you said, the categories of chats is also a good idea because there are lots of, friend tag in the beginning, you have different clubs also, and other social like orbs also have their kind of communities, sub-communities. So have some chats within the sub-communities also helps. And regarding AI agents, I think as long as people don't know it's an AI behind, myself doesn't mind talking to AI. Sometimes you don't even know. So it's a debate, but
I think to some extent, ChotoChat's almost the antithesis to some extent. There's so many of these virtual AI agent applications that are coming out, like virtual AI friend applications. I'm not sure if people saw Pengu. It's like this penguin application that's like number 7 in the App Store this week. But I think there is something to be said of like a human being on the other side. And I think that
good. That's better. But once you have an incentive, you can really avoid that. I think that's what Frank is saying. But I mean, we can discuss that later on. And if anybody have any advices about go-to-market and also improvement for SenseSpace, reach out later. We have one last demo, I think, from Mark with Moxie Maxi. And are you ready to take the stage, Mark?
Sure, yeah. So that's a bit of a recap. Last demo day, I talked about the ERC 721 pool manager, which is basically a hook that hooks in, designed to be generalized to be hooked into any NFT contract to provide reward shares as the NFTs change hands. Member shares in the Superfluid distribution pool get changed. So I've continued some work along that towards the first public implementation of that, but took a brief detour to launch Moxie Maxis, which is an NFT collection that has a Superfluid component. So I'm going to focus the demo on that, and I'm just going to share my screen here. So less than a week ago, the Airstack team released this character called Maxi, supposed to be a Moxie mascot for their Moxie protocol project that's focused on Farcaster. So that the character itself is less than a week old, and the opportunity kind of had a moment here. And so I created this NFT collection that is a bit of a mashup between using the Moxie Maxi character and base colors, which is another NFT project where you can mint any color, any hex color on the internet and own it and name it. And so the unique thing here is that you can mint your Maxi in a base color. If you own base colors, then you get a Maxi that's based on the colors that you own. If you don't, you get a random color that hasn't been minted by anyone. If the latter is the case, then you get the option to mint the color at the end in the frame. So here's a basic frame, and you can mint, I've already minted, so this is going to by default show me a recent one I've already done. So here you go. And then there's a thing to share it. And sharing it is key to where the Superfluid component comes in here. So here's where you can share it. Now, when I share this frame that shows my Maxi character in this color, I can earn referral points. And so let me try to close this. So I'm earning referral points, and it's not 1 point per mint. What it is if somebody mints from my frame, I get points that are equal to the FAR score of that minter. And the FAR score is a score calculated by Airstack that is supposed to measure the social influence of the user, with also the addition of some boosts that are specifically related to the user's participation in the Moxie protocol. So this aligns it with the Moxie protocol. So it's possible to have a score of less than less than 1. Many users do. And it's possible, if you're very active, influential user, to have a score in the hundreds. It's rare, but there are users like Wake and some others that have scores that are that high. So you can earn points for doing this. Now, what else do I have here? This is the launch cast here. There's 7,700 of these in total. So far, so we're about 20 hours in, and over 2,000 have been minted. And here you can see in the mint. So there's a reward stream for the top scorers. The top refers. So there's 69,420 Moxie is being streamed in real time over a 90-day period. And this is going to only the top 10 on the leaderboard based on those scores. So that's a post with some examples of that. I'll show the actual. Here's the scoreboard. At the current time, I can refresh and that might update. But this could be already updated. So this is the top 10 users, and you can see the points are as high as from Peachy, who's in number 1 from the beginning, over 1,600 points, going down to the 10th position. Renee Campbell has 165 points from referring it. So the way the Superfluid pool works is the points actually become the number of shares in the pool, the number of units in the pool. So it's proportional. The reward goes to these 10 users right now, but it's proportional to their points. So over here, we're just looking at a Superfluid app as Renee Campbell. She was number 10 on that list we just looked at. And so we can see so far, she's received 18, almost 19 Moxie X, and a flow rate of 694. And if we go more. So here is the actual pool in the Superfluid, I was going to say console, but I'm going to say Explorer, the new name. And so I've sorted it based on the number of units descending. So this is just like our leaderboard, right? And so we can see the various percentages. Peachy has got about a third of the pool right now, and it has received 210 already. We go down to number 10, or maybe it's number 9, it's be shift. So 165 units. We saw the score there of 165. Now we can see it's 165 units. If we go on to page 2, we'll see a bunch of streams that have stopped. And in these cases, these are users that were in the top 10 at some point, but then fell out. So they've earned some, but they're no longer part of the pool. And what happens is I have it set so that every 10 minutes, the scores are checked. And my code does a bit of a comparison, what needs to be updated. And so in some cases, nothing needs to be updated. All the points are equal to the units already. In some cases, a user needs to be removed from the pool and a new user added, and points need to be changed. And so that happens at a 10-minute intervals, but you could really do this at any interval. And so here's the contract, the pool. We can see, refresh this. So we can see 17 minutes ago, update member units for 1 user. 47 minutes ago. 2 of them were updated, and you can go on and on and on and on. And there's been 156 transactions in the pool. Pretty much all of those are updating the member units. So we're constantly changing the composition of the pool and the shares. So in a lot of ways, you can compare this to the Frontier Guild pool itself. For the Frontier Guild, we have human judges who are making weighted votes. Instead, here we have the referrals, providing those votes in a weighted manner based on the FAR scores. So not each vote is not equal, and those votes could have been, impacted indirectly in an on-chain way to update the member units. Instead, because of the high volume and the fact that only the top 10 are eligible, I've sort of taken that offline, and so I have this cron job that looks at the points and then initiates the changes to the pool directly. So in general, we're less than 24 hours in. A lot of people seem to be minting. A number of users have been receiving the streaming Moxie shares. So I think it's a good example. Well, I think it's a good example of a reward mechanism, for like a gamification or even just as a marketing tool to offer referral rewards. And also, I think it's a good example of how quickly, from a developer perspective, how quickly you can implement something like this. I mean, the character came out less than a week ago, and a good chunk of the work was around the NFTs and the dynamic image generation and coloring the images and the reward. And this is the Superfluid reward is only one component, and it's very possible to code that up and implement it in a relatively quick manner. So hopefully, it's an example for developers too, and how it's not that difficult to implement this in various ways. So the rewards can be, in this case, it's referrals for a mint, but it could be anything. It could be part of a game, an actual, like I've made the leaderboard look a bit like a game scoreboard, but it could be an actual game or something else. So that probably left something out here. So this is the contract for the actual. Oh, one more small thing here is that I talked at the beginning about, and last demo day, about the ERC 721 pool manager. Well, this contract for the Moxie Maxis does include that. It is not active, but you can see here, you can see this code, it might be too small, but that hook is here, but it's currently not hooked up to a pool directly. So I like the idea of adding support for this in an NFT contract where even if you don't want to use it right away, but later, if I want the mints to, if I want it to mint out, I can, implement an ERC 721, a different pool I can implement here and hook it up to this NFT contract and then announce that, okay, starting now, anyone who mints will receive a share of this reward stream. So it's something that you could add on after the fact. If whether I do that or not, I don't know, but the option is here, and I could make things interesting down the road as something that's added on later. So open to any questions.
Thanks, Mark. And I'm always impressed by how Mark can achieve in just 2 weeks' time with a functioning project, and also already went to market. He already posted on Forecaster and have lots of tractions already. And I like the combination between Moxie and Superfluid and the referral system as a reward, naturally really like a good fit for the Superfluid use case. Any questions from judges or any maybe inspirations you other team members might have for Mark?
I'd like to say just one little thing, and we're already over time. Just when people will receive the rewards, if they go to the dashboard, they're not necessarily going to be able to see them because they're not connected to the pool unless like you make them connect to the pool for whatever through like some mechanism or something. What I would say is also there's also another function called claim all on the GDA forwarder. I assume oh yeah, they can connect. Okay, that has been added. Okay, awesome then. I didn't say anything. But yeah, if you send people to this page, they will need to connect. So maybe that is something that yeah, I think yeah, they get to maybe just like tell them more about it. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't
I've explained that in a few casts, but to add on one thing I do plan to add on to release in the next couple of days is a bit of a frame for management of just making it simple, because right now I think that while I really like the Superfluid app design, I find the stream distribution section is kind of hidden. And I think there's some room for improvement there. But I'm going to create a frame that will let them sort of connect, sort of a button
You
to
can also
connect, and a
periodically
button to
claim for them.
downgrade, and just to have put some of those key features into the frame, so people, if they want to interact with the Superfluid protocol bits right from the frame, they'll be able to do that. And I think there's an opportunity to generalize some of that for other super tokens and stuff on Farcaster. So
yeah. You can also claim for them, by the way, from use the
Right.
function claim for them.
Yeah, it's an option too. Yeah.
Will it have sense to call connect instead of claim? Is it an IDE or a CDA? IDA or
It's a GDA, it's a pool. So if I understand it correctly, I can call claim all on their behalf, but I can't call connect on their behalf. One of the things that I didn't mention explicitly here is that I'm sponsoring all the gas for these mints. So users, it's very easy for them to mint, right? They don't have to send a transaction. So in that regard, I can, as Yusuf said, I can call claim all, which if I understand right, it claims whatever has streamed so far, but not what's continuing to stream. So you'd have to claim again if they're still part of an active stream. So the connect aspect of the pool is always something that I found, a bit of a user challenge with respect to pools compared to a regular stream, which is they don't have to claim, it's automatically in their wallet. But so these are some of the ways to help with that is the frame to make it a bit easier to do that. And as Yusuf said, claiming on their behalf, either periodically or maybe like once the 90 days is up is an option too.
Have you ever considered, I mean, you're streaming the Moxie X, right? So presumably they probably want normal Moxie. So you could potentially batch the claim and unwrap into one transaction for them.
Yeah. If I'm claiming it, I could either batch it or just do two transactions, on their behalf. It's the same from their perspective, but yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, as part of that sort of frame, sort of reward management frame, I think that just a single button click would be ideal for users. Yeah.
And by the way, we're all unhappy with the fact that that is necessary, right? So if you do have any ideas of potential solutions for that, I don't know if we ever discussed why that's the case. And if you do have any ideas of other alternatives, we're open to looking at them for Superfluid V2, because obviously it's a big limitation. The only thing that we've come up with is to have a whitelist. That's the only other kind of better way, is to just have a whitelist system.
in regard of the frame that allows you to claim, is it going? I do not know exactly how it looks like in Farcaster. Do you see which is the domain name or something like that you are sure that you are not going to be scammed? Like if I see a frame in Farcaster that says you have X amount of Superfluid tokens. Click here and claim them. And it's a transaction that it's not from Superfluid or not from Moxie. How do I know that?
Yeah, so in Farcaster, at least on the Warpcast client, they have a number of things. One, each frame interaction is has a verification system built into it with the signature. So from one side, when I receive that post, that interaction with the frame, I can validate that it's legitimate and not somebody who's sort of spoofing the button click. So that aspect. So as a developer, I can know that the user is a real user, and that this address that comes along with it has been verified by them as their address. So that's one side of it. The other side is can the user trust the frame? And there is, with respect to frames that have transactions built in, they do have a number of mechanisms there that will show whether the domain name of the frame has been verified or trusted by the Warpcast team or used before, or if it's a new domain, they'll show some warnings there if you're about to send a transaction. They do a transaction simulation as well as part of that before it throws it to the wallet. So those things are helpful when you're sending a transaction. In this case, I'm making it easier for users, so they're not sending the mint transaction. I am. So in this case, it's a frame on a domain, and I don't think there is any sort of vetting of frame domains. It's more a matter of reputation and who's sharing the frame, and you might recognize the domains that the frames are on, but it's more a matter of you're not sending a transaction, so you're not really putting yourself, any of your own funds at risk. If you're going to receive something, well, maybe you'll receive some junk, but there's no risk that you'll lose any tokens or NFTs or things like that. But I mean, the potential for spoofing some other organization or protocol in a frame that certainly exists.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Mark. We are running out of time, but I'm really excited this time because from the office hours, we already know there are so many really great progress, and today we are still impressed by progress of everybody. And I'm really excited about how you guys gonna continue the projects and then take it to the market, etc. So good vibes and good progress, everybody, and keep the vibe going. And thanks for everyone joining today. We'll continue office hours as usual. And if you have any questions, let us know. For the I think for BuzzFi team and also for the build on top of Super Boring, maybe Fran also can join to give you a little bit more advice or inspiration there. And we'll make the projects better together.